How's it going, everyone? Holy moly, it has been 305 days or 10 months on HRT since I'm recording this video. I'm pretty sure my last diary entry was at like 7 months ago, which makes this not very timely, I guess. But I had some stuff going on that I felt like I wanted to talk about. I'll be honest, last week was one of the rougher ones. Um, so I had an interesting incident with like someone I thought was cool and then turned out not to be cool. And it turns out after that they were cool. So, like, how do I anonymize this properly? I had a friend who is a gay dude. And like, I don't really know him that well. So it's like more of an acquaintance. And one of my best friends, who's a trans guy, came out to him. And this friend, the gay guy, I guess they're both gay guys, but the first one I was talking about, um, responded to my friend coming out to him by going off about trans women in sport. Um, and oh my Christ, I was so angry because like this is someone who acts like they were cool to me, like they saw me around and said hi and stuff like that, and I said hi back, but like secretly this dude is just fuming about how me, the 30-year-old programmer, is going to be like taking over women's sports. um so yeah, I was getting ready to go off on him, and then I found out that he actually apologized to my friend. I was just like, okay, all right, you get to live this time. But then the same fucking week I had an RTE documentary come out, and this RTE documentary features very heavily the voices of Paul Moran and I forget the name of the other one, but like these people who run the National Gender Service. So the NGS is like the bottleneck on all transgender healthcare in Ireland. And they absolutely fail at their jobs. They do a terrible job of it. I've been on that waiting list since August of last year. I bet it's more than a year on the waiting list, and from what I've been told, it's like 10 years long, based on freedom of information requests. Although they maintain in public that it's only 3 years long, I will take the FOIA requests over their testimony. But like, these people are so bad at delivering trans healthcare, and there they are on RTE, telling us, they tell us like how we should take our healthcare. I am so mad. I am so mad that like people like this still represent us. Cis people who have failed us in our healthcare still represent us. Um, and it's just beyond me, you know? I mean, the focus now is on trans youth. And the focus seems to be that, like, oh, well, young people shouldn't decide they're trans. I guess you can do what you want if you're over 18. You can't do what you want if you're over 18. You'll go on the waiting list and you'll fucking die on it. But they'll say, oh, I guess we can tolerate people having choices if they're over 18. Now, the thing about that is, there's a lot of choices that get made for you about your body if you don't get early medical intervention. If you don't get puberty blockers, for example. I have had over 10 laser sessions on my face, and I think 2 electrolysis sessions. And let me tell you, that shit hurts. But this is irreversible. Your facial hair growth is irreversible. Your body hair growth is irreversible. The movement of the bone plates in your body and your height, that's irreversible. So if you don't intervene early to prevent these changes, somebody who is trans could like be faced with a whole bunch of irreversible changes to their body that they can't do anything about. And that's nightmarish. It's nightmarish to like subject us to that. You know what I mean? Um Especially not at the hands of like these. Frankly, my opinion of the NGS and Paul Moran in particular is that they view their goal with transgender healthcare is that they think everyone is cis, and they view their goal as preventing as many cis people from transitioning as possible. They don't really believe trans people exist. That's what I think they are. I think that they view their job as protecting society from transness rather than protecting the health of trans people. I feel so angry. And then I saw some of the comments underneath this article, people responding to this, and just the apathy from cis people on this subject. I saw one person say like, given that this is an issue that doesn't affect 99% of the population, is this something we should really care about effectively? Is this just a distraction from other things? Like, for the 1% of the population that this affects, it's really, really, really affects us. You know? Like, our lives can't be disregarded just because we're a minority. The effect that you're having on our life should not be um, considered lesser just because there's only a couple of us, you know? Um, and yes, changes to the healthcare service were in the program for government. We were promised change. This is in the manifesto, but here we are. We're the year before the election, and honestly, we're nowhere closer. Um, Nobody seems interested. So, like, that's why I feel like I have to speak up. And there's another reason I have to speak up, because I know for a fact that I have friends who I think would really like to speak up. I think that they're people who are trans who would really like to talk about their transness and they would really like to be open, but they're not safe. They're people who have been told, more or less, that, like, if you don't cut this shit out with this trans thing, we're going to kick you out. That's something that happens today in 2023. And I think it's terrible. I think that I have the privilege of being a trans woman who has control over her life and frankly has a wonderful supportive parent. And I need to use that privilege to speak for people that aren't safe. So I'm gonna speak up more. I want to do everything I can to speak up more. And I know that's going to be difficult to do with my personal life being what it is, my professional life being busy as fuck, like, but I want to do it so badly. I mean, I created this diary just to be like, I'm going to record my personal transition. I'm going to record about what feelings I'm feeling, what kind of changes I come across. It was supposed to be a personal diary of everything I go through and I experience. Like my best breast growth, my fat redistribution. What is my body doing lately? And that's what I wanted it to be. And now I'm starting to hear the stories of like other trans people. It feels like this is so much bigger than me. It feels like I've been given the gift of, I guess, the right to be candid about everything that's happened to me. I've got the confidence. I've been given the personal freedom to speak freely. Like, I've been dealt a hand that a lot of people don't get. And I want to use that to stand up for everyone if I can. I'm not like here considering myself a savior or anything like that, but I genuinely want to do right by the people that saved me. You know? Being part of this community, realizing who I really am, has saved me. The fact that people saw me, a fucking confused egg. I would do this thing when I was like not ready to come out. I would do this thing where I would constantly try to hang around trans people just as like this enthusiastic ally. Like, oh, I'm not trans. I just think you guys are really cool. You know? Very believable, I know. But like, then not only did they have me hang out with them, they listened to me. I eventually found myself hanging out in community spaces more. And then it was slowly dawning on me why I was doing this. Why I wanted to hang with these particular people. Like, why it made me feel so safe and normal to be around other trans people. It's because it's who I am. It's who I always was. And there was a point where I couldn't come to deny that anymore. I position February 15th as being my official Traniversary. Like, because that was the day I decided no more fucking around. I need to tell people or I'm gonna burst. Have you ever had a secret like that? You know? Have you ever had a feeling that if you didn't tell someone about this, that you were going to burst? Because that's what it felt like. I thought that I would maintain secrecy over my transness for a while. I'd start HRT. I'll do this secretly. I'll just eventually become more feminine, and I'll just somehow slip into femininity. But no, it's not how it worked in the end. I had to rip the band-aid off because I couldn't take it anymore. I couldn't take being perceived as a man anymore. I couldn't take the way I felt that people looked at me, you know? Um, I couldn't take being called by my old name. I can't. One part of me wants to slip into my femininity and just be never seen again. I want the whole world to forget I'm trans and just see me as a woman. And there's so much temptation to that. It would be so beautiful to forget that I was ever anybody else, to forget all of my pain, to forget my masculinity, to forget that I went through all that. But there's also a big part of me that wants to help. I think that there's a lot of young people in Ireland that have seen that RTE documentary. Young trans people are watching that and thinking that this is normal. They think it's normal that, like, doctors will try to convince them they're not trans. They think it's normal that doctors should try and do that. When it's not, it's conversion therapy. Practiced right here in our legally mandated healthcare. It's unacceptable. It's unacceptable that our healthcare is out of our hands. It's unacceptable that our families might reject us for embracing who we are. It's puts me through so much pain for me to hear what my friends are going through. And I just like with my admission of my transness, my admission of my femininity, I feel like I'm going to burst if I don't speak about this. I feel like if I try and keep this a secret any longer, or I try to play it down, or I try to ignore it, I'm going to burst. So I have to be candid and speak with you. So yeah, I want to make more videos, and I hope I do get the time to make them. I've forgotten how to edit, basically. I'll have to go and relearn all that shit, but I'm going to do that. And I want to do that. Anyway, that's my little vent diary for today. And thanks for watching.